Good morning, everyone. We're back and we're here to answer your questions. We have Maria here.
Hi, you guys.
In place of Karen. You're like being a substitute for Karen.
Yes.
And you guys, you've seen Maria in the show we've done, right? We did she's the Chipotle girl.
I know.
And we did a whole video on her that you finally, after all these years, changed her diet for the better. And she's been really strict. She has not eaten 1 grain of sugar.
Nope.
And that's amazing.
It is.
And you're feeling better?
Yes, and taste buds are actually changing. So.
Wow, taste buds. That's good.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yes.
So so as you kind of find out where people are calling from, I'm just going to go right to the questions because Derek's been waiting for 26 minutes. Hey, Derek, you there?
Hey, Dr. Berg, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. How's everything? Your Instagram page is great, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's. I know a lot of people like it, and it's really good.
Okay.
Dr. Berg, I'm going to jump into it. I know you have a lot of callers. I have an issue now with a mitral valve prolapse. You told me it's a vitamin B deficiency, so I started supplementing that. But then I took an EKG, and it was abnormal. Took an echocardiogram and stress test after that, and mitral valve prolapse. It's still a trace, but it's a little bit more than usual.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of anxiety and panic symptoms, so I was just wondering, how can I just like totally get my heart back on track? You know, I mean, I know exercise and things of that nature, but what else can I really do?
Well, there's a couple things that I just want to, I forgot to actually give my disclaimer. So anything that I say, anything that she says is not meant to diagnose anyone or be a substitute for medical advice. It's just meant for you to do research with your help of your doctor to come up with some other ideas. As far as mitral valve prolapse, you know, the heart is a muscle. It has valves, it has neurological input, it has circulation with oxygen that goes in there. And out of all the organs, the heart responds probably the fastest to nutrition. So if you're not seeing changes for the better, and I'm talking like really do a before and after, and to see at least some improvements. If you're not seeing changes, then you better switch gears and try something else. As far as the valves of the heart, they need B vitamins. B vitamins help the tone of the heart muscle. It helps when the heart doesn't have enough nutrition. It doesn't tend to. It becomes atrophied. It can actually get larger, and then you have all sorts of problems with the pumps and you have a primer pump and the major pump, and then you have valvular issues, and then you have electrical problems. So there's just a couple things that I would look at. I would definitely look at the B vitamins. And let's say, for example, you're taking the B vitamins and they're natural and it's not working, and it's in the winter. What happens in the winter is your vitamin D drops, and then the microbes go down because they are dependent dependent for these for vitamin D. So they need vitamin D to survive. So if you don't have enough microbes, vitamin D doesn't get work that well, and vice versa. So you can actually either be deficient in vitamin D and have low microbes, or low microbes and vitamin D. So it kind of goes back and forth. So what you want to do is you want to either take a probiotic to increase the what the microbes create, which is B vitamins. So in other words, if you're taking B vitamins, it doesn't work, you might need vitamin D, or you might need flora or friendly bacteria to actually enhance vitamin D. And also, you also need a really good strong stomach to absorb the minerals as well, because especially when we're getting into, if you have any problems with the heart, especially with rhythm problems, electrical problems, you need potassium, magnesium, calcium, all the electrolytes, as well as sodium. So these are just things that I would look at. Check, so if you feel like you're not getting enough salt or enough potassium or enough B vitamins, I would plug those in, but I don't really have a cure-all for the mitral valve prolapse. So, all right, Derek, thanks for your question. Hey, Nancy, you're from California. You're exercising. Hi, and you're still not losing weight. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's been the story of my life. It's whenever I exercise, and I do light exercises, you know, whether it's jogging, walking, or lightweight lifting or whatever, the scale just doesn't move.
Yeah.
And it's That's been my life.
Okay, so
But when I don't exercise, it's bloating.
okay, I have a question. Are you doing healthy keto and intermittent fasting?
Yes.
Okay, how often do you eat per day?
2 meals.
2 meals? Okay. Do you have any thyroid issues that you know of?
No.
Okay. Are you craving anything?
At the beginning, it's mostly chocolate when I got on it, but no, afterwards, no, it's all good.
Okay. Are you hungry before you eat? Like, do you find like, wow, I'm starving and then I have to eat that one meal? Or are you kind of like, you just eat because you need to add those 2 meals in?
I'm hungry.
Okay. How old are you?
Yeah. I'm 45.
45. Okay. So here's the thing, Nancy. This is what I would recommend. One thing you need to know is exercise has incredible benefits for a lot of things, including stimulating the brain to actually grow new neurons. That's pretty cool. Repair actions for the brain, cognitive function improvement, mood enhancement, muscle enhancement. But weight loss actually is low on the list. Exercise is not the thing to do if you want to just lose weight. It does help a little bit, but probably maybe 10 to 15%. That what you need to do is kind of start focusing on doing shorter windows of eating and then go to that 1 meal a day. If you're going in your 40s, 45, premenopausal, as you get a few more years, you need to do 1 meal a day. My wife Karen is doing that, and she's 55, but she basically finds that works for her. Now, if you're hungry like that and you need those 2 meals, then add more fat to the meal and then do that 1 meal. And that's probably going to be your best bet, is to help you lose weight. And for those of you that are doing OMAD, 1 meal a day, and you're having a hard time losing weight, and you find that you're not hungry when you're about to eat, then go longer. Go longer. And because your body's burning fat. And then all of a sudden, if you eat, you shut that thing down. So that's what I would recommend. Thanks, Nancy. All right. So what do we have on social media?
So what we have is, I do have Angie from YouTube,
Yeah.
and she wants to know if acorn squash allowed on the keto way of eating.
Yeah, especially if yeah, it's totally fine. I think acorn squash is good, but of course, don't put the brown sugar on it.
Right.
You know? But yeah, put some butter on there. You can do squash,
Yeah.
and it's really, really good for those people that have digestive issues. That fiber in there seems to work well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So out of all the foods, and I just released a video on this, what food can you not say no to? What can't you resist? Do you have a food that you like, if you put that in front of my face, it's going to be really hard to say no?
Honestly,
Be honest.
no. I feel like I can say no.
You can say no?
Yeah.
What about before?
Oh, before, yeah, no. I'll be like, yeah, who cares?
Okay, but what food did you have to have?
You already know. Chipotle.
Chipotle.
The rice.
What in there? Is it the rice, or is there
I
something
think
else
it's the
in it?
rice and the beans and the chicken, like
In
all
combination. It's really
all
comfort
together.
food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like, no.
Wow, that's amazing.
No.
So, guys, just go ahead and type down the food that you cannot say
Yeah.
no to. A lot of you are on keto, and this is the whole point. When you go on
Right.
keto and IF, you can say no to foods, and that's like willpower is your strength to say no and resist certain things, and that's how you build up someone's willpower is to say no. Like if you keep giving into it, you're weak-willed. You know?
Yeah.
But I really think a lot of this is physical. I mean,
It is.
it's physical. There's a mental component, but you change the chemistry of your body.
Right.
Go keto. It makes it easier. But there is something going on with a habit. If you have a habit of doing
Yeah.
it, you tend
It's just
to.
gonna-
It's like even though I know this might be shocking, but some people actually eat when they're not even hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So the motivation to eat could be like boredom, stress. They're not even hungry. So what you want to do, this is the tip of the day. You ready for this?
Yeah.
You want to write this down? That's good. You want to document and log your foods and then
Right.
the reason why you're eating it, to make you very aware, because if it's really kind of like an awareness of keeping in the present,
Right.
so you can actually consciously do this versus slide in this automatic thing where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just caught myself eating a pound of nuts. Like,
Right.
what's up with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go to Ruth from Texas. Hey, Ruth. Long time no see. How you doing?
I'm doing fabulous.
Great.
I feel so great. I have so much energy. I'm just
Awesome.
wonderful. Even the night sweats that was happening, I took some of that wild yam and took care of that.
Awesome.
So I just feel fabulous. I sleep from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., wake up with energy, and then I take a small nap during the day for
Wow.
about 30 minutes.
Ruth, that's great because
So,
when I
and
saw
I've
you
been,
a while ago, you kind of had some issues, right?
Yeah, I was waking up at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I was waking up all night long and was, I guess, little mini hot flashes. I don't know
So
what it was.
what's
but,
your age? What's your age?
I'm 50.
Okay.
50.
And so for those of you that are watching, that are going through menopause, if you have hot flashes, which will interrupt your sleep, a lot of times what happens is the estrogen goes down, but progesterone really crashes. And it's not bad to take a progesterone cream. About 99% of the time, you're going to get something called wild yam cream. I'm not sure if that's the one you got, but it does work.
That's the one I got.
Yeah, it does work.
And it works wonderfully.
Yeah.
It works wonderfully. So I've been, that seems to be all under control. What I've noticed recently, and I thought it was the B vitamins, but I cut them out. And I actually got off all the supplements because I kind of got concerned that my urine is very thick, has a very strong odor to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink a lot of water. I maybe drink 2-3 quarts during the day, throughout the day. But I always, what you said as far as drinking only when you're thirsty, I've always done that. But I do drink a shake every day with the dandelion greens or with the beet tops, parsley, and I wasn't sure if that was somehow activating my liver and making my urine so stinky, or is it too many ketones? Because I'm on one meal a day,
Mm-hmm.
and then every other week I fast for 72 hours.
Yeah.
But I always have a big green shake and then my 3 ounces of protein and then whatever fat I need to satiate.
It sounds to me, and I did a video on stinky urine, if it's not high amounts of protein, then it's the ketones coming out that have a bit of an odor. You know what? Hey, at least it's coming out of you, right? It's not staying in you. I think you could probably add some more. You can add something like chlorophyll and things like that to try to offset that. Maybe add a little more greens.
So the wheatgrass powder.
Yeah.
To take some more, because I hadn't been taking the wheatgrass powder. I've been doing more of the electrolyte powder during the day, and so taking the supplements and taking the B vitamins, that's not going to hurt then.
No.
Because I've even cut down on. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be like. Here's what happens too. You don't require as much fluid when you're on keto, and so your thirst goes down. When you have carbs, you need more. You may want to just try an experiment too, and just add some more liquid or fluids to your diet, just to kind of dilute some of that concentrated ketones, which does have an odor. So that's kind of a couple things, and a couple ideas that you can do.
Yeah, I think I was definitely going to bump up the water and see if that helped. But like I said, I wasn't sure. I've been taking less of all the supplements simply because I don't feel like I need them anymore. With that big salad, it gives me so much energy. When I blend that up and drink that, I crave that. So I have, even if I go out to lunch, I'll come home and I'll drink the big salad.
That's awesome.
Because it just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So, wonderful.
That's great, Ruth. Good. So
thank you so much. I
appreciate
appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling. Okay.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. So there's someone that wanted to know when is the probiotic that I have going to be on Amazon? We're not going to put that product on Amazon. We're going to keep it on our website. Okay. And also ice cream, when's that going to be available? We're putting that on hold right now because we're working out the logistics. It's just a big project that when you get into shipping, one little problem, the whole thing melts and you're shut down. So I'm going to put that on hold, but we are coming out with something very, very exciting. I'm not going to tell anyone yet. That is very similar to the ice cream. I think a little bit better, but I will tell you soon once we.
Yes.
I don't want to
Please.
let the cat out of the bag right now. Okay. All right. Do you have any questions?
I do. I have Cindy from Facebook.
Okay.
Can you have BPC with breakfast of 1 egg and 1 slice of bacon?
You're talking about branch amino acids?
Yeah, she just put BPC.
Branch amino, no, that's not, that's birth control? BPC.
That's what she put down, BPC.
Just find a, email her, just get specific because it could be a couple little things.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
I do. I have Perm Sagar from YouTube. Tips for muscle
Atrophy?
or loss.
Yeah, so this is a really good point because when you have muscle atrophy, that means your growth hormone is too low. So we want to spike the growth hormone. You can do with exercise, like you got to do high intensity, like sprinting, things like that. But one of the best things for atrophy is going to be intermittent fasting. In females, you can spike it 1,300%. In men, you can spike it up to 2,000%. So go longer with intermittent fasting. Make sure you're consuming, not a lot, just a moderate amount of protein, like 3 to 6 ounces a day, per meal. And that should actually handle that. The only other reason that you would have atrophy is if your adrenals are overactive and you have high cortisol, in which case you have to work on the adrenals. So, and I have a whole thing on that. Just go to Dr. Berg on YouTube, Dr. Berg Stress Webinar, and I show you how to deal with the adrenals. All right, good. So now we're going to go to Aisha from Virginia. You had a question. Are you there?
Yes. Hi, Dr. Berg. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. First of all, I just wanted to throw out there, I think the BPC might stand for Bulletproof Coffee.
Oh, yeah, that's
I know
right.
on social
Yeah.
media. Yes, throwing that out there.
Okay,
I just wanted to make a quick suggestion, ask a quick question. I don't know if it's already available on YouTube, but I would love to see a video with you and your wife kind of explaining your experience with raising your children and diet and how you guys made the change and maybe some tips. Just putting that out there because I love you guys.
That is
and
a great idea, in fact.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Even my siblings are like, oh, do you have, everyone's interested. So
yeah.
I would definitely, that would be useful. And my questions are quickly, one is pertaining blood sugar and one is pertaining leukemia. Most importantly, we have a family friend at the age of 29 who was just diagnosed with acute leukemia, which is, I believe that's the more aggressive one. He was sick for a couple weeks, had a sore throat, fever, to the point where he couldn't swallow, went in and found out that it was actually his lymph nodes, and doctors started chemo immediately and went really aggressive because they felt like he's young and they could tackle it. So thankfully his numbers have gone down by 80,000, and they did a bone marrow test yesterday, so that the results should come back soon. The doctors think he may be in remission already. And I typed, when I first found out about the diagnosis, I looked on your page, I typed in leukemia, and a video came up where you briefly suggested wheatgrass for leukemia. So I just wanted to ask you whether or not he's in remission. Do you have any tips regarding leukemia diagnosis and how that can be handled through nutrition?
Got it.
And my question regarding blood sugar is, really quickly, I was testing how my blood sugar reacted to like a natural sweetener, just a little bit like coconut sugar, because I heard that's low glycemic.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday my blood sugar levels were all day between the low 70s and low 80s,
Mm-hmm.
even with having something I was testing for Thanksgiving with some coconut sugar in it. And I wanted to ask you, does that tell me that I'm controlling my insulin, or is that not a good sweetener to use, even though my blood sugars were low?
Wow, you have some really good questions. So let me just go through this, okay? Let's talk about the coconut sugar first. First of all, there's a lot of sugar in coconut sugar. There is a ton. It's not low glycemic. So what happens, because the reason why your blood sugars are low is because your insulin is being pumped out in reaction, and the insulin is pushing the blood sugars down. When you eat something and you have a spike in blood sugars, if you have insulin resistance, for example, or if you have pre-diabetic or diabetic, you're going to see a spike in blood sugars. But you're not going to see that. You're not going to see a spike in blood sugars if you're maybe like even before, like pre-diabetes. But you're still going to have high insulin. So it doesn't mean your insulin's not high. It just means that your insulin is pushing your blood sugars down. It might be, it's hard to tell unless you do a fasting insulin test. What I'm basically saying is I would not do any of those sugars at all, even if it did keep your blood sugars low, because eventually it's going to wear it out and it's going to start going higher. Okay, so that's that. And then as far as leukemia goes, I did a video also on one of the interesting, there's some data on vitamin T and leukemia. I don't have a lot of data, but you can do research and try to look at it. Sesame seeds apparently help that condition. But when I talk about wheatgrass, that actually is just to help support a healthy immune system, just to help your body deal with it better, not necessarily to, kill off any cancer. But so that's kind of why we would recommend wheatgrass, just to support your immune system as you're coping with this. But as far as a person to go to get more data on leukemia and any cancer, Thomas Seyfried, you want to look him up. He has some great data and on animal studies. But going back to the basics, healthy keto and really hardcore intermittent fasting, if I had leukemia, that's what I would be doing to support that. Let's see, I think, oh yeah, and I'm going to do a video with Karen on raising kids, but mainly we have a new granddaughter, and that's basically what I'm going to be focusing on, trying to do it completely differently than my kids. Kind of a new way of doing it. And like right now, I'm not going to allow any sugar at all until she's like 35 years old. And no sugar. And really make sure that Jordy, the mother, is fortified with really good food, nutrition. And one thing we're giving her right now, and I found some relatively reasonably priced, guess, fish eggs. Yeah, fish eggs. Caviar. Yeah. Just a little bit, one little thing. I think it's like $20, but it'll last for probably a month because she's just eating a little bit. She can't stand the taste. But if you give her a half a teaspoon, you're getting more omega-3s than anything on the planet. I mean, it's like seriously high nutrition. Those omega-3s will help support the breast milk and then that baby's brain. I think this kid's going to be a genius because you need these high levels of fat with a growing infant. You need DHA, EPA, all these. Like in breast milk, there's 160 different fatty acids. So when you have a baby and you start feeding this baby like plant-based milks, soy milk, rice milk, hemp milk, almond milk, bad, very bad, because it's so low in fat, then you're going to have deficiencies. You're going to have all sorts of stunted growth, increased risk of seizures, like that whole thing. So we need to do some, you can do cod liver oil, but I'm trying the fish eggs. I want to see if I can get away with that. It's expensive, but it might be worth it. I'm going to let you know, but we should actually video what happens. Now, going back to that question about the bulletproof coffee, let's see what that is right here.
So can you have VPC with breakfast of 1 egg and 1 slice of bacon?
Yeah, you can have the bulletproof coffee. But just realize, though, if you find that inhibits your weight loss, it's because your body's burning off that fat and not your own fat as much. It doesn't mean that you're not in ketosis, but those ketones are coming from the bulletproof coffee because it's made with what's called MCT oil. So anyway, if you're trying to lose weight, you might want to curb that a little bit. Okay? Good. So now we're going to go to Sunny. Are you there, Sunny?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good.
I'm good. Thanks so much. I have a quick question. Let me just give you a little bit of background. I'm 55 years old. I have a low hypothyroid. I have been taking pills about 25 years now. And I always struggle with my weight, up and down, up and down. I'm 5 feet. My highest, I was 200 pounds. And just crazy. And I saw your video on YouTube about a year and a half ago. I started following you. I went on keto, 1 meal a day. I lost 40 pounds in 4 months.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. But I have a problem now since 2 months ago. Whenever I eat, I feel this pain in my left shoulder blade, and it's just getting worse. It goes from left side, it goes under my rib cage, and goes on my side.
Okay.
It used to come and go, but since last month, it's on daily basis.
Okay.
I went to the doctor. My doctor is completely against keto diet. All the numbers were good. The only problem that she told me was my LDL was 174.
Okay.
And my total cholesterol is 255, but all my numbers, everything is good.
Okay.
So what's the
do you have the pain right now, Sunny?
Yes, it's just there all the time.
Okay.
It's like a pain or sharp, but
So can we do an experiment on you right now?
Sure.
Okay. So I want you to take your hand, press underneath the left rib cage, and massage underneath your left rib cage. Find the tender spot, press in there, massage it.
I saw your video and I did that. It feels a little better.
Okay.
But right after it's just real bad sharp pain.
Okay, so let me tell you what to do. I think what's happening, you're getting probably some weakness within the pancreas, and that refers pain to the phrenic nerve right up to the left shoulder blade. So that means that you need more enzymes. You may want to try my gallbladder formula, but if that doesn't fully handle it, you might want to get some pancreatic enzymes. Okay, so add more enzymes. It's really coming from your digestion. You want to do more massage in that area, but I think the pancreas needs some help. And I think that I like your fact that you're doing 1 meal a day. Probably add more vegetables, make sure they're raw, but you need support to the pancreas. That's where it's being referred from. Thanks, Sunny. All right. What do we got?
I'm just going to read it out from here. So we have Tina from YouTube. She would like to know, how do you know that you have a leaky gut or a fatty liver?
Well, here's the thing. If you want to rule out a fatty liver, all you have to do is look down. And if you see your belly, you have a fatty liver. That's a simple test. Okay, so, you can also do an ultrasound of the liver, and that will pick up if it's fatty or not. A lot of people have a fatty liver, and they don't know it. Even younger kids are getting fatty liver. Yeah, because of all the carbohydrates. And then, how do you know if you have IBS, or did you say irritable bowel syndrome, or is it, what is it? Colitis?
No,
what?
A leaky gut.
A leaky gut. It's leaking. There's a hole, and then you'll see some water dripping out on the ground. No.
Okay, no.
No. You'd have to do a scope to see a leaky gut if there's damage within the wall of the intestine. So you have this, your intestine has this little permeable wall. It's like one sheath of cells that's where you get the absorption. You have these little roots that suck up the nutrition through your gut. Now, if the holes get bigger because you've been doing too much gluten from the wheat, Chipotle, what happens is you start getting undigested particles and undigested proteins in there, and that's when your immune system tags it, and that's when you start getting allergies, food allergies to the proteins. Okay. So there are tests to determine that, but you'd have to get scoped out and get with your gastro doctor to find out. But let's just pretend that you have that. If you get on keto and IF, that's going to greatly improve that situation. And I did videos on leaky gut, so you should watch those. Okay? All right, so let's go to Jim from Denver, Colorado. Hey, Jim.
Good morning, Dr. Berg. I'm calling you because I've got a doctor appointment this afternoon, and I just got my CT coronary calcium score back.
Great.
And it has a lot of information on it.
Okay.
But what it has is a bunch of zeros for everything except my right coronary artery, and that one came back at 921. And then
Okay.
it shows that I've got a few other nodules in my chest cavity that they want to talk about that are all 3 millimeters or so, and then a small hiatal hernia.
Okay.
But I called because I called you a long time ago, and you said, go get this test done. And I thought, oh, okay. And now it comes back at 921 on this one artery, so it's
that's
what to do next.
Yeah. Okay. So Jim, that's a little on the high side, but at least it's good to know what's going on. And now what you need to do is you need to dive into some videos with Ivor Cummins, because he talks a lot about that. I would highly recommend. There's several medical doctors out there that can probably, give you some additional suggestions. But what you want to do is you want to get on keto, IF, like 1 meal a day, and you start bringing down insulin and do things to kind of pull the calcium out. One remedy that I would research would be called EDTA. EDTA. It's a chelator, and it's really good. You take it on an empty stomach, take it on a daily basis, and it starts to pull out heavy metals and calcium. It's been very successful. But here's the thing that you want to do, Jim. You want to actually get another test every 6 weeks, and you want to make sure your numbers are coming down. I would rather have it be coming down gradually to know that it's getting better with time than to even have a permanent type thing. But you can actually reverse that. There's several medical doctors, even cardiologists out there that have websites on decalcifying that artery. But the challenge is that the CAC test is one of the best indicators of overall heart function, better than cholesterol, anything. So the fact it should be 0. The fact that it's that high tells me that you need to take an aggressive approach and then retest it in 6 weeks. Like there's no cheating, none of that. You got to be hardcore. The other thing to probably really take is vitamin K2 and a little higher amounts. Yeah, so that's what you need to do, Jim. So jump on that immediately and then get another test in 6 weeks and call me back. Okay? Thanks, Jim. And for those of you that don't know what a CAC test is, it's one of the best tests for measuring your overall mortality and your risk for heart disease, way better than cholesterol or LDL. And it measures the calcium of the arteries. So definitely it should be 0, and I highly recommend getting it tested. It's not that expensive, and it's pretty quick, but it's very valuable. And a lot of times people never heard of it before. All right, so we're gonna go to Crystal from Washington. Hey, Crystal, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you perfectly.
I'm good. All right. I wanted to say hi from my sister and I. She lives in the Virgin Islands, so we met you at the summit.
Oh,
Her
great.
name's Mary. I don't know if you remember us, but
I think I do.
yeah, we had a great time there.
Yes, we did.
And so my question had to do with intermittent fasting.
Okay.
Extended fasting.
Yeah.
I'm on a protocol based on some of your videos to try to help with my asthma that I've had since I was a child. And so I've been taking the D3K2, or I sometimes do that backwards, D3K2, I'm taking 5 of those a day. But if I do an extended fast, I'm not sure how to take those because they're fat soluble.
Right.
And so I don't want to break the fast, but I need the fat.
Right.
I'm on 1 meal a day normally. I've been doing keto since January, and I'm down 70 pounds.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's why I'm working on the asthma now.
That's incredible. I think probably if you really want to do this correctly, when you fast, I don't have any objection. In fact, I encourage it to take vitamins, including fat-soluble vitamins. So it's not going to break anything. It's going to basically help support you because we don't know what's happening to how many nutrients you have in your reserve tank. So if you're doing extended fast, long fast, prolonged fasting, and by the way, if you're doing it for like more than a day, get some supervision. The longest fast was like 380 something odd days, and that person was medically supervised because what happens, they want to check different electrolytes, salts, and things like that, because that person did show low potassium and sodium, and then they start taking it. And that's why I always recommend, if you're doing anything extended, get it supervised. But here's the thing with you. I would take vitamins, and I would take electrolytes, and I would take fat-soluble vitamins while you're fasting. That way you're good, and you're not going to have a problem because you're dependent on your reserve tank. And we don't want to deplete that, especially the minerals and the sea salt, like definitely sodium, and the B vitamins. All right, thanks, Crystal. Hope to see you next year. All right, so what do we got?
Yes, I do have one from Maximilian.
Yeah.
He wants to know what may cause, I guess, hives to go all up in his neck while doing the keto diet.
Yeah, this is called a keto rash. The most common cause is low B vitamins. So this is what I always recommend. I tell people, take the B vitamins and electrolytes to prevent these symptoms. That's usually, because if you look up like even B2 deficiency or B3 deficiency, you have certain conditions like pellagra. That's all skin disorders. That can kick it on. The other time you can actually have a situation is when you start detoxing, which can happen too, in which case just take some charcoal or bentonite clay, and that should go away. So I would check either thing, either the detox or the B vitamin deficiency. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good. All right, so let's go to Sebastian from Belgium. Hi, how are you?
Hello,
Hi.
I'm doing well. First of all, I would say congratulations for the channel. I found it looking for videos about keto for a long time. There's a lot of awful channels I find out there, but this one is the best one.
Thank
and
you.
I've been following your ketosis plan for about 4 weeks now.
Oh, wow.
And my question actually is now that so I've been on keto for 4 weeks, and my weight loss has stalled. So I've lost weight for, in the first 2 weeks. I lost about 3 kilograms only. It's about, I think it's, how many pounds is this? 6 pounds.
6 pounds.
And in the past 2 weeks, I haven't lost any weight.
Okay. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Is your hunger less? Is your cravings less?
Yes, a lot less. I'm eating only twice a day, and I'm craving a lot less than before.
Good. Has your energy improved, or any other body change is improving?
I wouldn't say my energy has improved. I'm just a lot less hungry as before.
Okay. Is there any change in your waist? Is your waist and your clothes becoming looser?
I haven't checked my waist actually. I've only tracked my weight thus far.
Okay. Are you okay? So are you hungry? Because you're having 2 meals. Are you hungry before you eat?
The first meal at noon, yes. In the evening, not so much.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay. So this is what I would do, Sebastian. There's many different things. I have videos on plateauing. But for you, what I would do is have your main new rule is that you don't eat unless you're hungry. So at night, if you're not hungry for that second meal, skip it. Go all the way. If you have fat to lose, then you can do intermittent fasting. And you can do it longer. You can do less frequent eating. And then make sure you add more sea salt and then electrolytes, and that'll make it easier. But I would go down to 1 meal a day to kick it off, because some people need that. And if you have a lot of fat to lose, realize that the whole phase is getting healthy. And one of the most important things to do to get healthy is to reduce the excess amount of insulin. And the only way to do that is to cut down the carbs and eat less frequently. That's going to probably produce more health than anything, which will then eventually lead to weight loss. You're probably in the phase of getting healthy right now, so I'd be really curious to how your waist size is doing. So really start measuring your waist and go by that. And that's what I would do. There's a lot of other things too you can watch on YouTube, but that's what I would recommend for you. Thanks for your question. All right, so I need to go to Angela. She's been waiting for a bit. You're from Missouri. How are you, Angela?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I got a real serious issue here, I think, and I'm not quite sure how to handle it. My brother found you, along with Dr. Berry and a couple others, some months ago, and has lost 120 pounds following you, and it's just really been an eye-opener for me.
Wow.
I'm 5'6.5". I was about 300 pounds when I started. I've been doing it about 6 weeks, and I have lost 23, 24 pounds, but I can just tell in body composition that I'm much better than I was before. I mean, overall, I'm really not watching the scale because I'm unhealthy to begin with. So I'm doing this for health reasons, not weight loss, as much as I love that, but I know I need to get healthy. My real question is that I was born with 4 kidneys and a double uterus and double ovaries. I've known for a long time, because my mother's very holistic, and, we've known for a long time that I probably have had some serious adrenal fatigue and maybe adrenal syndrome, probably a stage 3 even, I'm not sure. But I'm seeing some things going on here with the 4 kidneys. Doesn't that mean I have 4 adrenals?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, so I think I have 4 adrenals according to every scan and everything that I have seen. So I feel like I'm super behind the 8 ball, because I believe that I've got, not only am I fighting, I'm doing 23-in-1, so I'm doing the intermittent fasting. I'm only eating 1 meal a day. I'm satiated. I'm not hungry during that time. When it's time for me to eat, I am hungry. About the 24th hour, I'm pretty hungry. And I'm sticking to, 7 cups of vegetables. I follow you pretty closely, but I feel like that I've got some issues with these adrenals, and I don't know, is there something that you would recommend? I am taking adrenal complex.
Okay.
From MediHerb.
Yeah.
Would you suggest anything else, or
Well,
have any
what is your
suggestions
main
for me?
what's your main symptom? What's your main symptom?
I still have, even with doing the keto, I still have the fatigue. I still have the body aches.
Okay.
I can tell that my adrenals are not responding to the keto like I would like for them to.
Okay. So I think this is my opinion. I think you're going to be okay with these extra organs, spare parts. I think that's not the issue. I don't think it is. I think you need more B vitamins. I can't speak for other adrenal complexes, but I have one called Adrenal and Cortisol Support. That's the one that I like the most if you have an adrenal weakness, to support it. And then I would also do something that I have called mitochondrial energy. Now the problem is I don't have that in yet.
I was going to say.
I don't have that in yet. So that should come like in 2 weeks. But that one is specifically to boost energy. And it was really hard to find the ingredients to make this work, but it supports the deeper mitochondria, specifically for things like fibromyalgia and fatigue. But in the meantime, I think there's some cortisol, it's called cortisol adrenal relief. You take a little bit more of it initially, your energy should increase, the inflammation should go down, and then I think it's just the B1 deficiency. But the mitochondria needs a jump start. If you're doing keto and IF and you're still tired, you need the spark plug, and that's the B1. But you also need magnesium and a couple other things. But at least in the meantime, I would do that. And then once I promote the other one, I think that's probably going to really help you, because it's actually for people that can't get energy from keto. And you just need some helper cofactors, but I don't think it has anything to do with having multiple adrenals. That's my guess. Could be wrong, but that's what I would do. Thanks for your call. Okay.
Yes.
Give me a question. An easy one this time.
Okay.
Okay.
So we do have Tiffany from YouTube. She says that she's not as hungry, let's say during fasting, but if you feel lightheaded, should you eat?
Oh, yeah. Let's define when you should eat, because that's really a good question. You should basically, let's say you have some mild, like stomach grumbling, or you're mildly hungry. keep going. But if you start getting dizzy, really hungry, weak, irritable, then you eat. Okay? But if you're going like through these waves, especially in the morning, like at 8 o'clock in the morning, you have a spike of cortisol, you might go, wow, I'm a little hungry, and then it goes away. Ride the wave. See?
Okay.
Did
Yeah.
you make note of that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. But some people like have blood sugar problems. They're like irritable, going to chop your head off. Well, then they need to eat. But then they need to do
Right.
fasting to get rid of those symptoms.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So now we're going to go to April from Washington. Are you there, April?
Yeah, I am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just a couple of quick questions. One is I read an article the other day about the pitfalls of keto, and it piqued my interest because I've only heard good things.
Yeah.
And it was a Chinese medicine perspective talking about liver stagnancy and how we all pretty much have it. We're gummed up, we're clogged because of toxins, etc., bad fats, and that being on a heavy keto diet is only going to make that worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wondering what your take is on that. And then my other question is intermittent fasting kind of kicks me into adrenal fatigue mode, and what you would do about that.
So when you do intermittent fasting, you get tired.
It brings on adrenal fatigue symptoms.
Okay.
It's more than being tired.
Okay. So a couple things that I want to talk about first. Let's first cover the liver thing. What they're talking about is classical keto, because you're doing high fat, it's low quality. The type of keto program that I always recommend is different than other keto programs. And it's a healthy version of it. It's a lot of vegetables. So therefore, we're not stressing out the liver at all. We're going low carb. The truth is, what's really bad for a liver is high carbs. That's really what causes the fatty liver. All we're trying to do is cut the carbs down to allow the fat to come out of the liver to help regenerate things. IF for the liver is very therapeutic because that helps to clean up the scar tissue, the cirrhosis in the liver, and any other proteins that shouldn't be there. Now, if you get tired when you're doing IF, what that means is that you probably have insulin resistance, and you have to go about it more gradual, very slowly. But you don't want to not do it. You want to do it, but just take more time to do it. And then you want to plug in the recommendations that I'm telling people, like the healthy version with some of the nutrients that you support it. And you should be able to do it longer and longer. As the liver gets healthier, you can go longer without eating, without having a dip in energy. If you have massive fatigue with intermittent fasting, it may not be your adrenal. It could be the liver, because you're not able to hold glycogen longer. The adrenal tends to affect, it can actually spike cortisol as well. That could be an aspect, a part of that. But the solution is the B vitamins. And not just B1, but vitamin B5. B5 is really important in supporting the adrenal as it's coping with blood sugars, because the adrenal does influence blood sugars highly. Thanks for the call, April. Good question. Now, let's go to Ivan from Florida. You have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. It's kind of a two-part question, but they're related. I've been suffering from like severe belching the last 10 to 20 hours, once or twice a week.
Okay.
It's got more frequently recently, and I attribute it to what I think it is GERD. What ends up happening is once the belching starts, it causes arrhythmia and atrial fibrillation. And so what happened basically 8 years ago, I went vegan, oil-free vegan, and that's when the belching started, to lower my cholesterol. So for my cholesterol, I got this new problem, but it's been getting worse this last year, and I had to cut out all fibrous vegetables and gas-causing vegetables, and still doesn't seem to help. And I've seen that several gastroenterologists and doctors, they can't really figure out what it is. They put me on a couple medications that kind of seem to help. I think one of them is sucralfate and famotidine.
Yeah.
And so I went keto 30 days ago thinking that would help. But then I realized keto diet requires a low-fat diet. I mean, not the keto. GERD diet requires a low.
I see.
A GERD diet requires a low-fat diet.
I see.
So I'm like, okay, great. So I have to stop that now. So basically, do you have any have you ever heard of this before?
Yeah,
I can't
I have, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it. You don't want to follow the GERD diet because the GERD is a symptom of something. The GERD diet is going to give you some temporary relief, but it won't actually, it's not long lasting. GERD is basically a problem with the valve on the top of the stomach. It's not closing correctly, and so you do have a backup of acid. There's some interesting data on the connection between that valve and the pH of your stomach. I found it to be most successful if you increase the acidity of the stomach to keep that valve closed. So instead of going low fat, you go high acid. I'm talking like betaine hydrochloride. I'd get that remedy. I'd probably take 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 tablets before you eat. And take that over a period of time. What's going to happen, your stomach gradually is going to get more acidic, and the valve's going to close more and more and more. You're going to get less burping. That acidity is also going to then be able to trigger more effectively and appropriately your gallbladder release, so you have more bile coming out of the liver, because belching is a bile problem. It's like not enough bile. So if you actually have more acid, you'll kill two birds with one stone. One is that your valve will close and the bile will be released. You have less burping or belching. Now, going on a vegan diet, the problem with that is that you're going to go low fat. And guess what triggers bile? Fat, saturated fat. So now you're going to try keto. It's going to increase more fat. You get more bile release, and the belching should go away, believe it or not. So that's what I would do. Now, there's a huge connection between the gallbladder and the heart as well, because especially when it gets congested, it backs up into the heart. And also, bile helps you get rid of, it actually controls cholesterol and also a fatty liver. So if you don't have enough, it could back up and then put pressure on the heart, because the liver is so connected to the heart, and that can actually cause arrhythmia problems. These are just things that I've just working with clients and also their medical doctors. These are just things that I found. You might not be able to find them all over the place, you know, in studies and things. But so I would basically add betaine hydrochloride, a lot of it before the meals. That should help. Maybe some apple cider vinegar. Get on the keto. Do IF. That will really help. And then give it a little bit of time. You may need to add some bile support, but not right off the bat. I would focus on the stomach. All right. Thanks for calling. All right, what do we got?
We do have CM from YouTube.
Yeah.
He or she wanted to know, how does keto impact on kidney stones?
If you're prone to kidney stones, it may increase the risk for kidney stones, especially if you're doing it incorrectly. If you're prone, I always tell people the best remedy to actually moderate in kidney stones is something called it's called, what is it called? Now I'm like spacing out now. It is called something, what is it called? What is it called? It's a new remedy that I recommend. Methyl citrate, it's something citrate. I'm going to look it up as I'm talking, but it's a good remedy. But you want to do, because you're getting a spike of uric acid. Okay, you're getting a spike of uric acid. So the stones that are more likely to get are uric acid crystal stones. Now, in the past, people said, well, just take some potassium citrate. That does help. Take some lemon juice with your water. That does help. But there's another remedy that I found that works even better, which I'm going to look up right now and tell you because I did a video on it. Okay, so we go Dr. Berg. All these answers are on YouTube. And kidney stones, and it's going to be, see if I can find it here. All right. It's not that one. I have like several. Yeah, so let me just find this here. What is it called? It's a really good remedy. something called methyl. It's like something like methyl citrate. What you can do is email me at drberg@drberg.com, and I will actually tell you that remedy. Okay? Yeah. Do you have any easier ones that I do remember?
Yes, I have Janice from Facebook.
Yeah.
She wants to know, does keto affect or hurt the appendix?
No, actually, it shouldn't hurt your appendix. I mean, I think what will hurt the appendix is eating junk food. If you want to actually do anything for the appendix, it's intermittent fasting, because that gives what happens between meals is your food is supposed to be cleared out of some of the intestine. Mm-hmm. The problem is we eat so frequently, we get all this food that just sits there, and then it backs up in the system, and you have the little ileocecal valve down here. It's a little valve that's supposed to separate the small from the large, and then you get food in there to kind of just get stuck in there, and then it starts infecting the appendix. So I think it would help a person because also high carb weakens your immune system. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. All right, do you have any other questions?
Nope.
No questions? All right, so we'll just wait for some more questions to come in here, and then I'm just kidding. I'm just going to go right to Vincent. You've been waiting for a while. Vincent, are you there? You're from the UK. Hi, Vincent.
Actually, my name is Chantal.
Your name is Chantal. Okay, good. I just messed that one up.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's okay. So thank you for taking my call. Mm-hmm. I just had a quick question about OMAD.
Okay.
So I've been doing OMAD for a little over 2 months, and I have not seen any results. Well, I've seen 5 pounds here, 5 pounds there, but I feel like I'm at a standstill. I'm basically back to the same weight I was when I started, and I just have like a lot of digestive issues. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think I know.
So my question is, like, what do you think I can? What else can I do to up the ante? Like.
Yeah. Well, this is another point. You gave me a good clue, especially if it's like first of all, it's almost illogical for someone not to really have a lot of good success to doing 1 meal a day. Like, it's like very strange that they would gain the weight back. So what that means is there's something else going on. It's something else, and you just mentioned digestion. So the big question is, when you eat vegetables, do you get bloated?
Definitely.
Yeah. Here's what happens with vegetables. These vegetables are like fluid retainers. They tend to hold a lot of fluid. And they basically kind of puff up with this fluid. Even when people eat a salad, they get thirsty. And then there's no salt. It's just like the fiber is retaining fluid, like a fluid-filled sponge, and it sits in your colon, especially if you have something called SIBO, which you can look it up, and that's SIBO through some of my videos. You may have that. And so here you are adding the vegetables, and you are just going to bloat yourself and think you're gaining fat, and it's just fluid retention. So this is what you're going to do. For 1 month, I'm guessing you have SIBO. Okay, I'm assuming you do. 1 month, no vegetables. I know that's shocking. No vegetables, okay? Do everything else but vegetables. And then that should give your system a chance to kind of clear out a little bit. And I'll be very curious, because I want you to call back in and see if you didn't lose a ton of weight, because I think it's just water retention. The other thing you want to do is you want to add more apple cider vinegar and betaine hydrochloride for your stomach to get acid. That will actually help clear out the SIBO. And just to do those 2 actions right there, and then I think that should solve your problem. And then when you go back to vegetables, you might have to do different types. You have to do like squash, zucchini, bell peppers. I actually have a video on this if you look under SIBO, and it tells you what to do. But you're the type that probably would not do very good on 7 to 10 cups of vegetables, because your microbes are in the small intestine and they should be in the large intestine. All right? Thank you very much. All right, what do we got here? Do we have a question before we go to Kelly? Are you
yes,
on a question? Okay, you
sorry.
Okay, good.
I was looking for it, sorry.
I'm so glad you have one more question.
Sadia from Facebook. Now, I know the answer to this question, but and you said it all the time.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask you
Okay.
because it seems like it's not
Okay.
out there.
All right.
Can we eat pomegranate in keto, meaning fruit?
Yeah. Pomegranate is not the sweetest thing on the planet. It's a little like these little things that are slightly. I would actually say try it out if you really want to. I don't think it's a really big problem. I mean, it's like there's a lot of seeds in there. It's relatively low in the glycemic. If you're not doing a lot of it, I don't see a big problem.
Gotta
I really
try it out
don't.
then.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Must try it.
But don't drink the juice. Because it's all fiber, you know?
Yeah.
It's like eating some berries. Hey, Kelly Lynn, you're from Canada. You had a question. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, Dr. Berg. Thank
Hi.
you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
I really love everything that you do, and I follow everything that you suggest in terms of keto and healthy keto and intermittent fasting. And just a quick background on what I am taking, so it might help with the answer, but I do a kale shake with fish oil, nutritional yeast, wheatgrass juice powder, collagen, and I'm also taking benfotiamine B1, 160 milligrams 2 times a day, because I suffer from Raynaud's, terrible, almost debilitating when it strikes me. My fingers tips go all white and I lose feeling, and it's very, very painful, as well as my toes. I'm also taking D3 and K2, bentonine hydrochloride, sea kelp, gallbladder formula, ACV, electrolytes, and adrenal cortisol support, and your sleep aid. And it's just been phenomenal. My overall anxiety has been taken care of. My insomnia is manageable now, and a lot of my digestive problems have taken care of itself with just following your program and keeping it very simple, which I love. I love the simplicity of it. But unfortunately, even doing everything, the Raynaud's is just something that I'm having to deal with.
Okay. I think I might have pressed the wrong button. Are you there? Let me see if I can. Hello? Can you try to bring her back up? Okay. So you probably are still talking right now, and I'm just going to answer the question because I pressed the wrong button. And so you're taking all these vitamins, you had these great successes, but you still have Raynaud's, and you want to know what to do. That's what I'm assuming. So hopefully you can still hear me. So this is a bit of a tough one because they don't really know what causes it. There's serious, it's autoimmune, it's a circulation problem, and so it's a bit of a tough thing. Here's what I do know about Raynaud's. There's a couple things. One is that it's a dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system, and you get all these like weird things with that. People that like sweat too much, they don't sweat enough, they get dizzy, they get Raynaud's, and Raynaud's is like when your fingertips are like the severe sensitivity to cold, and it starts turning blue, almost blue and purple. So it can really affect you. So the remedy for that usually is vitamin B1, and I think you're taking benfotiamine, which is fat-soluble B vitamin, and you're taking other Bs as well, probably, I don't know. So what I would recommend, if you have an imbalance in the autonomic nervous system and you're taking it, still not working, then the only other thing is to focus on your gut, because the microbes in the gut help you also make B vitamins, and that can actually help you also absorb B vitamins as well. So what I would do, and this also goes for another condition that's a little bit similar because it's vascular, where you have like your cheeks are red, and you have that condition where it's like almost black and blue. You work on the gut, work on the microbes, take something to support the gut, and do research in that area. That's what I would focus on. But that's a really tough one. But thank you for your call. Guys, you've been great. I really appreciate your attention, and have a wonderful weekend. We will see you next week. Karen will be back, and have a good one.